Let me just address the Dumbo in the room. Yes, I am criticizing the company that bears my family's name. Yes, I think Disney can do better. And I believe that many of the thousands of magnificent people who work at the Walt Disney Company wish that it would do better just as much as I do. For almost a century, Disney has turned a pretty profit on the idea that families are a kind of magic, that love is important, that imaginations matter. That's why it turns your stomach a little bit when I tell you that Cinderella might be sleeping in her car. But let's be very clear, this is not just about Disney. This is structural and this is systemic. No single CEO on his own is culpable, and no single company has the wherewithal to buck this. The analysts, the pundits, the politicians, the business school curricula, and the social norms that drive the shape of the contemporary economy. Disney is just doing what everybody else does, and they're not even the worst offender. If I told you how bad it was for workers at Amazon or McDonald's or Walmart or any one of 1,000 other places you've never heard of, it's not going to hit you as viscerally as if I tell you that 73% or 3 out of 4 of the people who smile when you walk in, who help you comfort that crying baby, who maybe help you have the best vacation you ever had, can't consistently put food on the table. I know that it's hard to imagine that things as unquantifiable as moral obligations should have any call on us when we seek to deliver value to our investors. But accounting and finance don't run the world. Beliefs, mindsets, those are what drive business ethics. And if we're going to change those mindsets and belief systems, we're going to have to use the most Disney superpower out there. We're going to have to use our imaginations. You're going to have to invite Jiminy Cricket back to the party. Now, Jiminy Cricket might start with some low-hanging fruit, like greed is not good, like the world is not divided into makers and takers, and that nobody ever, without any help, pulled themselves up by their own bootstraps. If you know anything about physics, you'll understand why that is. Jiminy might remind us that every single person who works for us, without exception, whether they fill out the spreadsheets or change the bed sheets, deserves the respect and dignity of a living wage. Jiminy might ask us to question some of our dogma. Does a CEO really need to be paid as much or more than every other CEO? Or is that just creating a competitive dynamic that's driving numbers into the stratosphere? He might wonder if boards really do know all that they really need to know when they don't have frontline workers ever at their meetings. He might ask if there's such a thing as too much money. Or he might wonder if maybe we can make common cause with consumers, with workers, with companies, with communities, for all of us to come together to redefine this incredibly narrow idea of what it is the purpose of a company really is. I believe that the most profitable business ecosystem in the history of the world can do better. I believe we can take just a little bit off of the upside, take a tiny bit of pressure off the speed at which things are happening. I believe that everything we lose in the short term will more than make up for itself in an expanded landscape of moral, spiritual, and financial prosperity. There is so much to learn from the simple integrity of how my grandfather understood his job as CEO. Behind every theme park and every stuffed animal, a handful of principles governed everything. Every single person deserves respect and dignity. No one is too good to pick up a piece of garbage, and always let your conscience be your guide. We could all do worse than listen to Jiminy Cricket.